Hey guys, so always talking within the communities about retro games and things that are going on and prices. Video game price charting is always this hot, heated debate. It's always like price charting is what I use. No, I use eBay. Oh, I use this. I use that. Da, 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 da. So I want to talk about it a bit. I want to just explain why, for one, I believe that when I'm looking at price charting, this is more representative of an estimated weighted average attempting to normalize prices, and it's not more so a way of trying to gauge what the price actually is right now. Another thing too is I want to talk about is that eBay is always going to be more accurate because it represents what people are paying right now and not what people are paying over time. Just because this is calculating some sort of trend doesn't mean that's really what someone would pay right now in this given market. So let's talk about that a bit. So if we're looking at Super Turkin as an example, we can see that over time the price really didn't move. Now, why didn't it really move? Well, first, let's talk about what this means, right? So let's go to the FAQ. You see we have the price charting help, and there's actually a section called price data. So it says, using our proprietary algorithm, we combine these sold listings into one value for each video game and condition. So if you click on this link, it'll bring you to how we get our prices. So our goal is to track the market price of all video games over time. Not this is what it's worth right now. No. That number is very deceiving, and I'm going to get into that because it doesn't represent, again, recent sales, what people are paying right now. It's more of this is what people have paid over time, and based on these arbitrary numbers and weights and algorithms that we have come up with, by normalizing the prices, this is what I believe people will pay. You can't normalize people's behavior into just basic, I guess, actuarial principles by normalizing your sales and things like that. It just doesn't work. And I'm going to get into that a little more. So how we combine sales data to determine price. We combine multiple estimators to determine the current price. Estimators include methods like the most recent sale price, the median price, the average price, the age-weighted average price, mean of hinges, and many more. All of these estimators are combined to calculate a very accurate current market price. And you can see then he goes into conditions. So like complete means box and manual, does not mean inserts, does not mean this or that. Nope, he is just looking at it and saying, oh, does it have a box and manual? Okay, that's complete. Loose just means it's missing something. So if you look at loose, let's see if he's got anything like that. No. So he actually doesn't even put it in there. So if you were looking at Super Turrican sales as of late, right, you can see that this is just a box, September 10th, and this one, August 27th, also just had a box. Price charting will not use that sale. You can see it's not in here at all. If you go to complete, it's not there at all. If you go to new, it's not there at all. Now, there's a lot of reasons why it's probably not showing up. For instance, they do, like you see down here, they have user review. So, you can report listings, as most people know, and there's actually automated outlier detection. So if a price is way beyond what usually happens, they go, I think JJ or whoever administrates this site will actually go and look at the sale and just see if it looks real before letting it enter into this data. So let's now, I'm going to talk about a little bit how this is probably working from behind the scenes based on this language here. So I'm not exactly a driven person when it comes to projections and estimating numbers. So I'm just going off of what I believe is probably going on here to some extent. But, obviously a little more convoluted, a lot more complicated, a lot more data. So I'm using Super Turrican as an example. So let's go back to Super Turrican 2. You can see Super Turrican 2 does not have many sales over, that looks like 2 years. We only have one sale a month, right? So what would that mean to your price if you only have like one sale a month? Well, let's take a look at some of these periods. So up until May 31, 2019, before you enter June, and June completed, we had 507.82 was the average of the sold price. And I'll show you that. So if you go to your web browser, you go to Super Turrican 2, we look at May 2019. And boom, 507.82. So that's what it showed. In the next period, it showed 538.89. So let's go back here. And you can see I'm a little close. But the number being close or not is not what I'm trying to show. Again, it's a proprietary algorithm. He's not going to give it to you or I. But we can make sense of it, right? So we had two sales. The average of the sale price then was $550. So $550. 550. We had 2 sales. So thinking about his language here, where he's saying, oh, we use age-weighted average price. So I don't know what that would be, because that's obviously a historical number. There's probably a lot that goes into that calculation. So what I did was I just looked at how many sales there were in a month, and we apply a weight to it. So long story short, if there was 1 sale, we're not valuing it much. We're dropping it by 15%. If there's 2 sales, we're going to buff it up. We're going to say, you know what, that average price, yeah, that average price shown here should be 3% higher because it's representative of something that's current and not old. Again, with their whole goal of trying to show accurate market prices. And if you had 3 sales, we're going to raise it by 5%, 4, 7, 5, 10%. Now, this sounds like I'm taking $500 there, right, $550, and then saying, okay, that's going to be 1.110 high. No, that's not what's actually happening. So again, it's an average. So we're saying this number is more valuable than this number. So we're raising this number by 3% as a weight to say it's a little higher. And we come up with a better average, right? So long story short, looking at the number of sales, coming up with the weight, looking at the average price, then averaging the 2 numbers, the number before it. And I'm going to show you that's kind of what goes on with him. So if we were looking at August 19 to July 19. So if we go to July 19, see we're at 533.62, and now it dropped to 502. Huh. Why did it drop to 502? Well, it dropped to 502 because we had 1 sale at about 470. Now his weight must have been a little lighter than mine. Mine's a little heavier, but it kind of gives you an idea as to what's probably going on behind the scenes and how this may or may not really tell you the full picture. If it went for 470, then why would you have been paying Pricecharting's $500, right? Maybe the price on eBay is just lower at that point in time. So what would that really mean if you were looking at this then? It just means that the price is trending down. That's all he's trying to show. So if it's going for 470 on eBay and Pricecharting shows 500, then it probably tells you if it went down $30 on a weighted average, but eBay is really at 470, the price is just trending down. And you can see in the next month, it went back up to $6.99. So let's click back here, and I'm just going to click on September 19, and you see it's at 550. So we had a drop, and then a bump back up to 550. So the point of this video, long-winded I know, is to explain that price charting is by no means a perfect representation of current prices. I know that may seem like a stupid thing to say because it feels like, you know, that should be very obvious. But I don't think it's very obvious to many members of the community that may have just gotten into retro collecting and maybe don't have the time to understand. Maybe they're just, you know, they're not as fiscally conservative as some people, and they're just trying to get their games at the, you know, maybe games they remember, or games that they like at a reasonable price. And I think that when you're talking in terms of price charting versus eBay, I think that eBay is always going to be the prevailer. You should always look at eBay solds. And if you want to know, okay, how long has this game been expensive, then I think price charting is your go-to. Because, you know, in Super Turk and 2's example, yeah, the data's a little skewed. There's a little weird, some weird things going on here and how he's calculating this. However, overall, we can see the price is going up. And if we go to the sales, we can see that a mint copy is pretty expensive. This someone just paid $1,100. And then if we go to current, you know, just look at what's actually on here. We can see that we have one here for $720. We have another one here, brand new, $1,500. We have a box only for $850. And we have another one right here for $850, but it looks like it doesn't have the card. So let's just take a look at that. And if we scroll down to the comments, box no manual. Okay, well this is a very strange listing. It looks like I think you're just getting a I'm not sure, but anyway. So long story short, don't use price charting as a means to understanding everything about where a game's price is and your absolute only tool. And don't always rely on, you know, what price charting is showing you here, because again, it's not representative of buying behaviors. It's more representative of a historical trend into what he's trying to do. And I think this here illustrates that perfectly. I hope you found this informative. I'm glad you listened to me for almost 10 minutes, if you even did. Have a great day. Thanks.